Okay guys, it is Mark Johnson back again, and today I'm going to give you my quick warning and just advice on why you should not buy one of these brand new house and land package project homes, whatever you want to call them, in Sydney. Now there's lots of these glorified opportunities to buy these brand new project homes in Sydney's northwest. They seem great, you know, brand new home, there's nothing to worry about, nothing can go wrong, right? Now these homes do not make good investment properties. They're actually the worst kind of investment property that I can really think of, in my opinion, and I'm going to explain why. Now, if this is the house you're planning on living in for the rest of your life, this is what you're set on buying, and you don't care if the price goes up, house prices go up, down, or whatever, and you can definitely afford it, then go ahead and buy one of these houses. Don't listen to this video. The fact is, I would never buy one of these houses as an investment property unless I was making millions and millions of dollars a year and I had to park my money somewhere. But even in that case, I would be buying bulk these project homes. Okay, I'd be buying tons of them at a time, and I'd be getting a steep discount on those project homes. A lot more than your average retail person would be able to get just buying one of them. So exactly why are these a bad investment? Well, firstly, this type of property can be inflated. Okay, now that basically means it's not going to get the capital growth that we've seen over the last many years in real estate. Now, before I go into too much detail on what exactly that means, let's do some simple math on these properties, and just so I can show you exactly what you're getting yourself into. Okay, so we're going to look at project homes in Sydney, sort of Schofields area. All right, we've got a bunch of them here. They're all out Sydney's northwest, out that way. You've got Schofields, Riverstone. Yeah, they're just getting sort of further out and more spread out that way. Alright, so your average 3-bedroom house, there's this one here, 949,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. That's on a 350 square meter block. These are rentals. Okay, so you can see this one, this actually hasn't been built yet. You pay a little bit less to buy off the plan, and then you have to wait a year or so for them to get built, but this one's 883,000 to buy off the plan. You got 857,000, another to buy off the plan. Another buy off the plan, 769, and this one's already built, brand new. 949,000, and as you guys can see, these are on tiny little blocks, 250 square meters, 250 square meters. They're very small. The biggest one was actually 350 square meters, and that was almost $1 million. But you're getting a brand new home at the end of the day. Okay guys, so we've got up the CDS rental calculator. Now let's say we'll be conservative here, okay? I'll try and skew the numbers a little bit in the favor of the project homes. Alright, just so you guys know. Let's be conservative and say you pay $860,000 for one of these brand new homes in this market. Okay, this is just the CDS rental calculator. It's a great way of finding out how much your mortgage is going to be and how much rental return you're going to get, and exactly like how much you're making cash flow wise and stuff at the end of the day. When it comes to investing in property. Alright, so we put the purchase price in at $860,000. Your down payment is going to be 10%, because that's what a lot of these down payments are now. In Sydney, they've got now not including if you've got to pay LMI, which is going to be another $10,000, or maybe even more, okay, on that 10%. We're not even going to count that, okay? Lender's mortgage insurance is what I'm talking about. We're not even going to count that. So let's just say you don't have to pay that, and you don't have to pay stamp duty because you're getting the first home buyer's grant. Otherwise, you would have to factor in those costs too. All right, so $860,000, down payment of 10%, closing costs 0.5, your interest rate 2.8%, okay? They're pretty low at the moment, but that'd be about right. Rents, now, if we look here, we've got a couple of houses for rent. Now these are all the ones for rent, all these new homes. All right, as you can see, there's a couple of different options here. $560 a week. They're asking for this. That's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, like that one we saw for $960,000. Okay, another $560 a week. That's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. They're all new project homes. $600 per week, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Okay, that's a nice one. Now, we're going to say, again, we're going to be super like, you're probably only going to get $550 a week in rent, but we're going to say that you're going to get $600 a week in rent, okay, just so I can show you. Alright, so $600 a week in rent would be $2,400 a month. Okay, with a vacancy rate of 5%, maintenance 5%, management 8%. Actually, we're going to go 10% for maintenance, and that's going to include your property taxes that you got to pay, like, you know, council rates, all that sort of stuff. Okay, that gives you $2,700 for a couple of repairs if they ever pop up, call out, service fee, whatever, and then it gives you your council rates and stuff paid for as well. So we're going to run those numbers. Now right here, this is going to be your mortgage repayment over the year. $38,163 is how much you'll pay each year. That's the debt service. Your cash flow is going to be minus $15,000. Okay, but your principal pay down is $16,700. So you're actually positively geared on this property. If you don't know what positively gearing means, it means your rental income is covering all the interest basically on the debt. So if you were to rent this place out, say you lose your job and you're not living there, or if you just buy it purely as an investment and you're renting it out, you would be actually having to pay an extra $15,728 a year on top of that mortgage to keep that property, even with the renters paying the rent to you each week and helping pay the mortgage for you. So it's still costing you an extra $15,700 a year. Your principal pay down is $16,700, so you would actually have to pay tax on that $1,000 difference there as well as income. So at the end of the day, if you were to rent it out, it's going to be costing you a big chunk of money each year, and that's not to say if interest rates were to go up. If interest rates were to go up, you'd be in a lot of trouble, in my opinion. Now that you know the numbers and you know what you're getting yourself into, if you do decide to buy one of these as a rental property, you know you're going to have to be feeding this rental property your own money out of your own wage every single year. Just to keep this rental property, and you'd hope the capital growth covers it, but I'm about to tell you why it won't cover it. What was I talking about when I said these homes can be inflated? What does that mean? Now, if we look at Venezuela, the country that inflated their currency to the point where it pretty much became worthless, okay? There's literally pictures of guys walking around with wheelbarrows filled with millions and millions of dollars, just cashed up wheelbarrows, and that money's basically worthless. They're using that money to buy like a piece of bread or a loaf of bread. Now, I'm not saying your project home is going to become worthless like that, but I'm saying that it can be inflated. So what makes a house go up in value? Well, it's the land that that property or that house is sitting on. That's usually what gives it the capital growth. That land may be in a city, it might be really close to something, it might be on the beach, close to the beach, it might be waterfront, it might have some really good views. So that you know, property is desirable because there's only this one, there's only a few properties that are close to the beach. There's only a few properties that are waterfront. There's only a few properties with amazing views. And this type of land can't be inflated because there's only so many waterfront, beachfront, you know, in the city houses. There's only so many of them. You can't make more beaches. You can't, you know, it's impossible to do. The type of land that these project homes are sitting on, they're plentiful. Okay, there's tons of this land in Australia. There's too much of this land, okay? Even out in the northwest of Sydney, there's tons of land that can be developed. And there's nothing special about this land. These developers buy up huge farms and huge sums of land and divide them into thousands and thousands of these tiny little lots. Now, don't get me wrong, they're buying these lots for a lot of money. They're buying these farms for like $50 million out there. And you know, they're spending a lot of money developing these sites and going through the processes of getting them all divided into these little lots. But at the end of the day, those massive costs are massive, but they're splitting them up into thousands and thousands of these little tiny lots. So they're getting each one of these lots for pennies on the dollar. And look, we have so much undeveloped land in Australia, especially out there in the north, the west of Sydney. There's a lot of land there that can be developed, and it's just, there's nothing special about it. They can keep making these little lots, and you're going to have the same pot of land, and they're going to keep getting them cheap as chips. And yes, they're making the most of these tiny little blocks. You're getting this nice, brand new, big house. The whole block is house at the end of the day. it's what it is. But the thing is, building processes are getting better and better. At the end of the day, houses, the actual house goes down in value. It depreciates, and land appreciates. But when they continue to get this land and divide it up and get it cheap as chips, the land isn't going to appreciate. And the house on it, well, building processes are getting more and more efficient. Through innovation, building costs are coming down. Soon they're going to be 3D printing houses. Mark my word, and they'll be doing it for pennies on the dollar. They'll be getting cheaper and cheaper and more efficient. Now, this is a good thing, I think, personally, for, everyone. Eventually, they're going to be so efficient at building these houses that everyone is going to be able to afford a house, one of these brand new houses, whether it's a kit home or something that just gets delivered there or something that gets printed there on the spot. They're going to be so cheap, anyone's going to be able to have a nice new 4-bedroom house to themselves. It may be in the middle of nowhere on this tiny plot of land, but they're going to be able to have a nice new house, and it'll be very cheap. So what does that mean for these new project homes that are just getting built and built and built on your same block of land, the exact same, they're all the exact same? Well, it means they're not going to go up in value. Think about it. When the new iPhone comes out, okay, the new toy, it's not that much different from the old iPhone. But what happens when the new iPhone comes out? The old iPhone goes down in value. When you're flooding the market with newer iPhones, even though there's not that much of an upgrade between them, okay, what happens to the old iPhones? They certainly don't go up in value. Same thing applies with these project homes and where they're getting built now. There's still a ton of land reasonably close to there that they can develop and make more of these. Now, if developers are buying this land and the building costs are coming down because they're getting more and more efficient, and through innovation and new technology that we have, and building processes are getting better, and creating competition through these builders and these developers, costs are going to come down as they compete with each other. So would someone buy your old project home that's a couple years old now for $900,000, which is what you paid for it now, when 10 or 15 minutes away on the next big batch of brand new project homes, the builders are offering them for $800,000? The answer is no. They would not buy your house that's 5 years old when they can get a brand new one 10 minutes down the road for cheaper. Now, I'm not saying that real estate won't go up in value. It certainly will. I'm just saying these project homes, if they keep making them like they are, they're not going to go up in value. Look, who knows? With the government printing money, it's certainly possible that everything will go up in value. We'll get a lot of inflation. But the thing is, these project homes aren't going to go up in value as fast as certain other investments, certain other property that's more sought after, that has better location. There's more demand for houses that are in the inner city, that are going to be waterfront houses especially, or on the beach, close to the beach. Developers can't come in and develop a bunch of land on the beach because you can't buy land there, for one. There's a bunch of restrictions now on any new developments along like waterfront and the beach. All they can do is knock down houses that are already on the beach and then rebuild there. But that's going to cost them a lot more than just building a ton of these tiny little houses out in, where they can buy massive farms and hundreds of acres of land for pennies on the dollar compared to what land would cost waterfront or beachfront. And waterfront and beachfront land can't be inflated like other land can. We have so much of the other land, just plain land, that you could get endless amounts of it. You can build endless houses, you could keep going forever and ever and ever. We have that much land in Australia, it's ridiculous. But we only have so much land that is sought after, like on the beach, waterfront properties, inner city. People want to be close to things, and there's only so much of that land. So in these locations, prices will continue to go up as more and more people want that better piece of land that has the views, or it's closer to things, it's in the city, whatever. It's more sought after. All about location, location, location. And a lot of these houses that are closer to everything are actually on 600 to 1,000 square meter blocks compared to these project homes, which are on 250 square meter blocks. Excuse me. What does that mean, having a bigger block? Well, it gives you more options. A common thing now in Sydney, in the more sought after areas where it makes sense to do this, where land is so much, people are subdividing, so they're simply cutting the block in half and building 2 separate houses on there. That's very common. They're building duplexes on there. Yeah, you have a lot more options. You can put multiple dwellings. On a 250 square meter block, you can barely fit one house. You certainly can't do anything like that that could add value in the future. So guys, for an investment property, I highly don't recommend buying one of these project homes. For one, because of the cash flow. I don't want a property that's going to cost me money each year. I want to be able to buy this property as an investment, set up managers, set up everything, and they take a cut from the rent. And I want that rent to be so much that it covers all the expenses and even gives me a little bit of cash flow each month, which would be great. But at the very minimum, you want it to be basically self-sufficient. So whatever capital growth you get from that property, great, you get it. You don't have to worry about anything that's going on with that property because the rent covers everything on it, and it's not going to cost you anything. It's basically like making a baby as a real estate investment, and then hands off completely. You don't change diapers or nothing. You just watch it grow and blossom into the strapping young property that it is. So I know how tempting it is to go and buy one of these places because they are new and they look nice, and you know, it's kind of, you don't think about the numbers behind it. It's just a really nice house that you can get into. It's new, you know there's going to be no stresses, no problems or anything like that. But they are not a good investment from my perspective. A good investment from my perspective is something that covers itself completely from the rent. That's including any maintenance that it needs or any problems that come up. And something that is unique, that there's not many of because it's close to something or it has certain views or it's waterfront, and you're going to see that go up a lot faster capital growth wise than you would a block of land that you can duplicate 1 billion times throughout Australia. Also, if you want to know anything about my personal property investments, there's a couple of videos I would recommend you guys watch. Boom, 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 and boom. Okay, now I'll leave those links down below, and you know, you can see my story, how I've made money through real estate, how it's made me financially free, and I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you enjoy my perspective, and I hope it helps you out. I'll catch you in the next one.